Resilient Africa Network, we could not find a better partner than EGAD, the platform, to be able to disseminate our findings. So it's a real honor, and we really thank you for this partnership. So I've been asked to moderate this next panel, introduce the panelists who are going to be able to present key findings from the State of African Resilience Report. It's the first annual report. We plan on holding a series of these. This report covers a qualitative study that has taken place in 18 communities throughout sub-Saharan Africa. And to set the stage for the panel, what I'd like to do is introduce a study that I discussed with our colleagues 3 years ago when we first convened in Kampala, when we brought all of the various universities and partners together to really start the dialogue about what is resilience within the context of these communities within which these partners come from. And I brought up this study, which is a study of a community in New Orleans East. And this August is the 10th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, which to date is still the costliest and deadliest disaster in U.S. history. And what we saw in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina was that there seems to be this one community, New Orleans East, that seemed to be more resilient than any of the other communities. They were able to self-organize, they returned, they rebuilt their communities, they reached out to the greater New Orleans community to be able to also restart that building process, and they did all of this without any sort of formal support. So for years, researchers were trying to figure out, well, what was it about this community in particular that made them more resilient than some of the other communities. So we carried out the study in partnership with the National Academy of Sciences. And through this dialogue with the community, we came up with 3 potential descriptions as to why this community seems to be more resilient. And I note this here in terms of social identity and memory was one. Social capital and community competence, and I'll explain that briefly, was that this community was mainly resettled by Vietnamese refugees after the war of 1975. And they had this collective memory of being displaced because of the war. And the resettlement challenges in the United States, though it was difficult, they prospered. They were really able to find new lives, and they thrived in America. They thrived in this community. So that memory of being displaced, that memory of the hardships and also returning and rebuilding, helped them look at the hurricane not through the lens of being victims, but they understood that, yes, there's going to be some tragedy, but if they worked together, it was quite possible that they could emerge out of this crisis even stronger. So there was something about this collective identity and social memory that seemed to help them organize and return and to be a little bit more resilient. The other aspect was social capital. And again, because of this resettlement and this collective memory of being displaced and having to work together in this community to rebuild their lives in the United States, when they came back after Hurricane Katrina, they worked together. They pooled their resources to be able to support members within their community. They rebuilt boats to go out to be able to fish. They pooled those resources again to get other boats in the water. And then they didn't stop there. They used the funding to support their community, but they also recognized that New Orleans East, which is about 20 minutes from downtown New Orleans from the French Quarter, that New Orleans East could not survive if the greater New Orleans community was not coming back. So they weren't just looking inwards within their own community, they also understood that there was this connectivity in terms of the broader New Orleans, greater New Orleans community. So they were providing funding, small grants, to also bring others back